We begin with matters security, where Interior Cabinet Secretary Joseph Nkaissery has extended the dusk to dawn curfew in mainland Lamu County until January 25th. Only those with permits from the county police commander can go about their businesses. And this is the fifth time the curfew is being extended since it was imposed in July of 2014, following the death of over 100 people in attacks within the county. The extension orders, however, exclude the Lamu island of the county.
Immediately, the new Interior Cabinet Secretary Joseph Nkaissery assumed his office at Harambee House. He went into a meeting with top security chiefs, including the outgoing Inspector General of Police, David Kimayo. The meeting was to brief the newly appointed Interior Secretary on homeland security measures. And immediately after the brief, Nkaissery lifted the dusk to dawn curfew in parts of Lamu County, while extending the curfew to January 2015 for mainland Lamu. A dispatch from Nkaissery's desk states the extension of the curfew in Lamu was effective from yesterday and will continue on until January 25th next year. During this time, everyone residing in Lamu mainland is required to stay indoors except under special circumstances that should be backed by a written permit granted by the county's police commander.
Sorting out the security problem is not and cannot be Nkaissery only affair. It will require each and every one of us to address all the threats that impede Kenya from realizing its dream.
This is the fifth time the curfew is being extended since it was imposed in July of this year, following the death of over 100 people in attacks within the county mainland. The outgoing Inspector General of Police had extended the curfew up to December 24th, a move that had angered residents and leaders in the region. Nonetheless, the extension orders exclude the Lamu island of the county.
We've been so unhappy with the curfew. For 4 months, we've been in our houses at 6 o'clock every evening, and that has really destroyed our businesses here. No guests, nothing.
Lamu Governor Issa Timami and other coastal leaders had in November urged residents to ignore the curfew as it had gravely affected tourism, fishing and trade, which are the backbone of the county's economy. He said the county government had lost about 500 million shillings in revenue in the period the curfew has been in force.
If the government insists that they want to have a curfew, as they're doing, then we suggest they declare a national disaster, and they should provide food and cash subsistence to the people of Lamu, because they are restricting our citizens from earning their livelihoods.
Lamu mainland was rocked by brazen attacks in the months of June and July of 2014. The attackers, heavily armed, always disappeared into the forest after committing their audacious attacks. Samugina, KTN.
Well, despite the security concerns at the coastal city of Mombasa, the town is experiencing an influx of visitors from around the country, the region, and from traditional tourism markets who have come to enjoy themselves during this festive season. With hotels and locals keen on making a kill after a long year of desperation and insecurity that literally brought the tourism sector down on its knees.
The collapse of the tourism sector in the country this year could top the list of major concerns in the government's plans for the future. Contrary to 2011, when there was a 16% surge growth in the number of visitors coming into the country, this has been the worst year yet for the Kenyan tourism sector.
The sector is still under recession. It's taken a big hit from May when we started having this security-related problems. So we are still trying to find ways of getting back on our feet.
In Mombasa, security has been beefed up as the region reported an increase in both local and international tourists, with holidaymakers flocking the beaches where they are being treated to a series of entertainment activities ranging from boat riding, swimming, among others.
We feel very secure from the beginning when we arrived at the airport, and on the way from the airport through the bridge, or no, not the bridge, it's the little ferry, and on the way down to Ukanda and to the Baobab, it feels very secure.
Hotels and other holiday destinations are reporting brisk business for the past week, with the trend expected to remain the same until early next year.
Bookings for the month of December have been quite encouraging. We have seen a very good response from the region, both Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Ethiopia, and of course our traditional Western market.
These beaches are full day and night as holiday makers maximize their time to enjoy their holiday festivities.
The size itself of the Kenyan domestic market is not big enough to cover for the losses that are being experienced with the international tourists.
A security plan that includes air, land and sea patrols has been prepared for Mombasa and Lamu this holiday season. Special attention will be paid to areas around Nyali Bridge, supermarkets, Likoni Ferry Channel, as well as the Pirates Beach in Mombasa. At the same time, vehicles traveling between Lamu and Garsen will be escorted by police. This is to avoid attacks on passenger buses.
Not only is the security upgraded, but when you interact with the locals, you realize that they have a big stake in the security.
The players in the tourism sector are, however, not optimistic that the current trend will last beyond the few weeks of the new year, and are calling upon the government to put more effort in securing the country, as well as marketing the country as safe for visitors. Philip Keitan, KTN.
County governments in the coastal region have stationed lifesavers with lifeboats to ensure the safety of local tourists flocking the region. Now, this move is intended to prevent cases of drowning, which have been on the rise in the recent days. Catherine Omwanto reports.
The allure of the Kenyan coast is most evident during the festive season. A mass exodus of sorts is experienced as Kenyans flock the sandy beaches in Mombasa. The white sands and the beautiful blue waters drawing in masses to the shores. But unknown to many who live far from the ocean, swimming in a swimming pool is very different from swimming in the sea.
We have put measures because we have seen lately the incidences of swimmers drowning along the Diani beach. 5 people last week drowned.
A little good news. This year, officials of Kwale County are prepared to handle the overzealous visitors.
We have a rescue boat which will be here 24 hours, and this will be stationed at Tradewinds. We also have another rescue boat at Shimoni for that southern region, and we also have 15 divers.
It is not just in Diani that lifeguards have been stationed. In South Coast, more lifeguards are manning the waters, especially at the popular Pirates Beach. Catherine Omwanto, KTN.
Well, Pope Francis celebrated his Christmas Eve at St. Peter's Basilica with a late-night mass and a phone call to some Iraqi refugees. Here's a look at some key highlights in his address. In his Christmas Eve address, the leader of the world's 1.1 billion Roman Catholics has called on people to have greater empathy towards family and friends and those in need. The Pope said the world needs tenderness and warmth. Before the Christmas Eve Mass, a 78-year-old pontiff made a phone call to some Iraqi refugees forced to flee their homes by militants. The Pope told refugees at the Ankawa camp in northern Iraq that they were like Jesus, forced to flee because there was no place for them. During the Mass in St. Peter's, Francis echoed some of the themes he raised in the phone call as reflected on the nativity scene. The short address, laden with gospel references, was a far cry from his barbed Christmas speech to cardinals, bishops, and priests on Monday, where he criticized the Vatican bureaucracy, listing 15 of what he called ailments within the church, including the lust for power, which he expressed hope it would be cured in the year.
Nei suoi misteri di partecipare alla sua gloria nel cielo.
The Mass was broadcast live in 3D for the first time, with images of the crowds of faithful and around the tiny city-state captured by drones. Well, the night before Christmas usually means different things to different people from all walks of life. And here's how many chose to usher in the holiday here in Kenya. morning, troops to various churches, rather, as we were mentioning, Christians this morning, troops to various churches for the Christmas celebration. Give thanks for the year that has been, renewing their commitment in the goodness of the good at the All Saints Cathedral here in Nairobi. Anglicans flocked the church, men, women and children, in a service that was presided over by the Anglican Archbishop Eliud Wabukala. Wabukala challenged Kenyans to coexist peacefully to foster nationhood. The Anglican Archbishop also warned politicians against their political posturing, saying they should develop a unity of purpose for the better good of the country's growth and development.
Asking all of us as Christians and Kenyans that we should be able to live together. That while we acknowledge our differences, we must agree that we must learn to listen and to tolerate each other. Because it's not possible that indeed we can agree on everything together, but we should learn to listen to each other and to live together. We have also cautioned our people that all the leaders in government and opposition should refrain from introducing controversies that derail our efforts to develop our motherland. I think we have done a lot of politics.
Well, let's revisit that story about Christmas Eve. And we did say that the night before Christmas does mean different things to different people from all walks of life. So here's a look at how Kenyans chose to usher in the holiday.
Twas the night before Christmas, a cold night in the capital. Christian faithful gathered to celebrate the birth of Christ, symbols of the birth of Jesus punctuating the space, a visual reminder of the reason for the season. At the All Saints Cathedral, harmonies rise and fall. A message of tolerance is preached, carols and hymns filling the air.
God is a God of grace and truth. And I will urge us as Kenyans to be truthful and also to be gracious.
In Nakuru at Christ the King Catholic Church, Christmas Mass came with a message of hope. And for Grace Wanjiru from Babadogo, the first hour of Christmas came with a special bundle of joy.
Nimezaa mtoi wangu saa 6. Nimefurahi sana juu hiyo ndio same time yenye Mary alikuwa na deliver na ndamuita Mary. Na pia mabeshte zangu leo wameshinda wakiniimbia na niuliza kama nataka tushie naye mkate. Nikamwambia Mary akideliver wake na pia mimi ndakuwa nikideliver wangu. But mimi nilikuwa tu naongea, sikuwa najua.
Baby Mary is a second child. Being a Christmas baby, her mother says, every year her birthday will be extra special. And as the night carried on, revelers made merry in their own special way. Nairobi was wide-eyed in the wee hours of the morning as revelers thronged popular entertainment spots to mark the global celebration. Dorcas Wangira, KTN.
On Football, Kenya Federation, or FKF, registered mixed results on its scorecard, and the Federation's Vice Chairman, Robert Asembo, hopes the demons of 2014 will remain behind as the country ushers in 2015.
Football Kenya Federation had some few battles towards the end of the year. FKF was at loggerheads with Kenya Premier League over the expanded 2015 Premier League, an issue that Robert Asembo, the Vice Chairman of the Federation, believes was a PR exercise gone sour and could have been handled better.
What is left is to look at the financial implications, because that was an issue KPL were raising. Though the FKF, we are assuring them that we'll get finances, we'll fill any gaps. Then the issue of any obligations KPL may have had when they were dealing as a 16-team entity. So we have to look at those obligations, be they contractual, and also the overall implications of moving forward from 16 to 18.
Cape Verde locked the national soccer team Harambee Stars out of the 2015 Equatorial Guinea-hosted Africa Cup of Nations. And while Kenya will remain spectators as the creme de la creme of the continent's football gather in the tiny African country, the Federation says it's time to take stock.
Our relationship with the KPL should have been better. And of course, we know where the weaknesses were, especially on the part of KPL, the institutional weaknesses. And then other things such as not going past Lesotho, I think we really deserve to have headed to the AFCON.
Gor Mahia and Sofapaka will be taking part in the continental football next year. However, the biggest challenge will be to prepare adequately since the Kenya Premier League calendar is not in tandem with the rest of the continent's leagues, an issue that contributes to the team's poor show continentally. Despite the challenges witnessed this year, they hope 2015 will bring with it better tidings and a bit of luck on the pitch for national team Harambee Stars. Hassan Juma, KTN Sports.
And to our Did You Know facts today, which are courtesy of Collins Kiplimo, studio technical operator here, who yesterday failed to give me a Did You Know fact and is hoping to atone by giving me cookies and 2 Did You Know facts. So here goes. Did you know that the word uncopyrightable is the only 15-letter word that can be spelled without repeating any letter? I bet you didn't know that. Now you're going through the letters thinking, U-N-C-O, yes, they don't repeat the letters. Did you also know that it is only recently that lights and other Christmas decorations became popular? Earlier, Christmas trees would be decorated with apples, figs, and dates. Isn't that a really nice Did You Know fact? Thank you very much to Collins. And thank you all for your viewership. I do wish you a very Merry Christmas. Hopefully we'll see you here again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Take care.